morning, good afternoon, good evening. Zimbabwe's political and economic crisis is getting worse and worse. And it is really impossible to pretend or to ignore what is going on here. When Blessed Geza and four of his colleagues had their press conference late January and spoke of the corruption, mismanagement, and the growing poverty. They were not speaking something that people could not relate to. Everybody could say it. When Blessed Geza dismissed Mnangagwa's Vision 2030, which he was using as the basis to justify why he should be allowed to stay in office beyond the 2028 second term limit. He was arguing that he, ever since he got into power in 2017, following the military coup, he was causing the economy to thrive in leaps and bounds. And the country was heading to become an upper middle income nation by 2030, in 5 years' time. And he should be allowed to stay on to deliver that. That was the argument. And when Blessed Geza dismissed that as bullshit, he was saying something that everybody did not dare to say out loud. But once the cat was out of the bag, many people have come out and endorsed it because it is bullshit. The country's economy is in total meltdown. Unemployment has been 80% plus for the last 20 years or more. When Mnangagwa took over in 2017, he promised to stamp out corruption. And that corruption has increased in leaps and bounds. And so it is not surprising that many other groups, including, in this particular case, the Roman Catholic bishops, have come out and condemned the corruption, the mismanagement, and the economic and political crisis the country is being drawn into. They have particularly criticized the regime for wasting time instead of focusing on these economic and political challenges. They've been wasting time in this idiotic debate about Mnangagwa extending his stay in power beyond the 2028 second term limit. And the bishops were absolutely right. It is idiotic. How can somebody who has failed to revive the economy now want to extend his stay in power under the pretext that the economy is thriving and he is the one who can deliver that prosperity? It's just utter nonsense. We need to address the country's failure to hold free, fair, and credible elections, which is the reason why Zimbabwe is a failed state. Our failure to hold free, fair, and credible elections is at the heart of Zimbabwe's economic and political challenges. We as a nation cannot avoid it. We have a president who has never subscribed to the notion of free, fair, and credible elections. Mnangagwa has used violence to stay in power. And the fear is he's going to resort to the use of violence yet again. Here is Mnangagwa boasting about his role in the 2008 electoral coup.
2008 patakaita ma-elections pakaposa papinda Tsvangirai ndandiri election agent ya-president. Ma-results abuda tiri pa-party headquarters. Vamutasa vanga vari secretary vedu ve-administration. Vamutasa muripi ndafona. Ndiri kwaRusape. Koma kuenda kwaRusape seka ma-results achibuda kudai. Vanga aiwa zvako izvo Mnangagwa ndezvako enda kumusha. Office vanga vabisa zvinhu zvavo zvose. Watofunga kuti zani yadini yaparara. President ofona zvakamira sei? Kati ndomamira zvakaita takatodini kateda sei manje? Mama ndikati abvudzai baba nditaurira baba gadzirai politburo, cabinet. Musarangarira zvimwe zvinhu, gadzirai cabinet. Asi nangoda kuti muzive kuti 2008 ma-results abuda vamutasa vakatiza.
As a country we face a generational transition. Vana vese vari kuma below 35, they are crying out for help. The country is in a mess. Arusuru. We know we are inheriting a mess. We know this country has been left with nothing.
I'm assuring you that starting from tomorrow, you'll see a different nation from what you have seen or read on the news about these results and everything. Where we are going ahead there, the situation will be very different. What we said to our people, they could not see with their own eyes. We are going to act as we see it fit. We are prepared to go the whole distance.
The presidential spokesperson has answered the Catholic bishops. He told them that they should not be concerned about Mnangagwa pushing to change the constitution so that he could stay in power beyond 2028. As far as the issue was concerned, according to Georg Charamba, the issue is dead and buried. I think no one in their right mind would believe Charamba. We are living in a country in which until the 15th of November 2017, many people, no doubt including Charamba himself, would have said a military coup would never happen in Zimbabwe. And yet, the morning of 15th November 2017, the narrative changed. There was a coup in Zimbabwe. And right now, the country is so tense, no one can rule out the possibility of yet another coup. This is what happens in a country that has failed to hold free, fair, and credible elections. If you stifle peaceful, democratic change, you only leave the door open for violent change. So the second coup is on the card. Maybe a military coup, or it may be a violent street protest. But how else can you get Mnangagwa out? And as for him trying to stay in power beyond 2028 by hook or by crook, if a coup is on the card, him being able to change to stay in power is on the card. In my humble opinion, the issue is not dead and buried until Mnangagwa himself is dead and buried. That is the reality. And so I totally side with the Catholic bishops and underline once again the need for the country to seriously look for a solution. The situation in Zimbabwe is untenable. We already had a military coup in 2017. Many people supported it because those behind the coup assured them that there will be free, fair, and credible elections. But as soon as the people support had assured forced Mugabe to resign, those behind the coup changed their minds. It was business as usual. This is where we are today. The coup is possible. I repeat. The military coup of 2017 is on the cards, and it could easily be repeated. But this time, I strongly recommend that the people of Zimbabwe should not make the mistake and go out on the street in support of the coup. For the simple reason that the coup is not going to deliver a peaceful and democratic Zimbabwe. Those who are advocating a coup, the Chiwenga faction, they've made it abundantly clear that if they succeed, they want Chiwenga to take over. I repeat, swapping one dictator for another is not going to get us out of this economic and political crisis. And of course, supporting Mnangagwa is no option either, because it will only serve to perpetuate the crisis that we are in already. So what's to be done? I believe the factional fighting in ZANU-PF has nothing to do with the ordinary Zimbabwean citizen. We should not take any sides, tempting as that might be. We are nothing but just a goat. And when you see two hyenas fighting, even if one of the hyenas has promised the goat that it is now a vegetarian, it will be very foolish for the goat to hang around. Because even if the vegetarian hyena should prevail, it will suddenly change its mind and celebrate its victory with a feast of goat. We want an end to the dictatorship and not swapping one dictator for another. That is the simple and clear message that we must send to both the Chiwenga faction and to the Mnangagwa faction. And we should remain focused on the issue of we want democratic reforms implemented so that the 2028 elections are free, fair, and credible. If no reforms are implemented, we should have nothing to do with those elections either. In the past, we have been conned by the opposition. We had their own agenda to participate in flawed elections. We should not allow ourselves to be conned again. Think about it. Thank you very much. Have a good day.